Well, the lights are on, the camera's
Nobody's
rolling, nobody's home, the microphones are hot. Kobe is in the
Sir?
studio.
Yep.
That means one
In
thing.
the Arctic studio.
It's cold in here. It means one thing.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
Episode 2 of The Blender Talk Show.
We have a sponsor this time. It's me. At Blocks of Faith.
Yep.
Got us these awesome coffee mugs.
These are fantastic.
You know, one thing I've been thinking about is last episode, right? We talked about perspective, everything. One of the things we talked about was perspective. Is it a 6? Is it a 9?
Right.
Well, we thought that the first episode was us doing questions about ourselves so people could get to know us better.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we discovered through the feedback.
We did not do that very well.
We didn't do it well. Well, our perspective was like, this is who we are.
Right.
And everybody else's perspective was like, let us know who you are. And we're like, we thought we did that.
Like the Cheshire said, who are you?
Who are you? So that's going to be kind of the meat of today, this episode. We're going to try more gooder. But while we do that, I think that the motivation for the viewer is not going to just be, how are we going to know Kobe and Andy better? But the question itself, who are you? Because as we talked about it, even you were like, I don't know how to answer that question.
Right.
So that's the whole meat of what we're doing today, I think, is who we are. And the purpose, we also talked about like the purpose. And I mentioned to you the other day that I think that there's really, you can break down podcasts or talk shows to 2 main types: educational and entertainment.
Right.
And I would say that we're
a blend.
Absolutely, a blender. And more from the concept of an idea that we're not going to tell you how to do things, but we're going to answer questions back and forth to each other. And the goal is, entertainment wise, whatever you're doing, whether you're driving or cleaning the house or at work with your computer on, kill time, be entertained by the conversation, but also to think about yourself and how you would react in these scenarios.
And in saying that, one of the things that we are trying and we really want to do is that little comment section of this. We want people who watch this to comment on any of it. You know, like Andy said, we're not going to sit here and tell you what to do in any situation, but I know what I would do in a situation. So what I would do isn't what you're going to do and isn't what anyone else is going to do. I know me. I've met myself before, you know. But like when we were talking about TV and movies and different stuff like last time, we have something like that on here now, you know, and it would be great if people commented on it. Like when we get to it, you know, go from there. But yeah, we really do want this to be a dialogue. We want a conversation, not just between us, but between anyone who watches this, anyone who has an idea, you know, and you know, go from there. But also in saying that, I think we should you know, tackle that first part like now while we're talking.
Right.
You know, one of the things that we had mentioned was we are not going to talk politics.
Absolutely not.
We don't care what side of the aisle anybody's on. We don't care what you don't stand for or whatever. If you're a cool person, you're a cool person. We don't care what you look like. I mean, really is what it comes down to. If you don't know the difference between right and wrong.
There's a lot of people who don't.
Yeah, but you know.
Well, I take that back. I think they do know, but they choose to just benefit themselves over other people.
Right. Well, you know, in some instances, you know, what's wrong in your eyes might not be wrong in someone else's eyes. You know, it depends on, you know, where you are, you know, where you came from. There's and it's not nothing. It's not like murder. Murder's wrong. We all know that. You know, but it's just this little thing.
Jesus says if you call somebody an idiot, you've murdered them in your heart. I'm an ex-murderer in that sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no, that's like the big thing that we are going to stay away from.
Absolutely.
You know, and I have no problem if I start ranting about something and you basically tell me like, hey, shut it. That's cool, man. You know, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at first too, we talked religion and like you know where I come from the aspect of being a youth director, but I also say that I'm not religious in the sense of religion is it's the not the foundation, but it's the framework of worship. It's like the rules, and
Right.
Christianity is actually very anti-rule, and it's like you're freed from all this stuff. Try to live good, but it's not going to send you to hell if you fall short again, because that all of your sins past, present, and future have been paid for. So like we lose the religious aspect.
Well, it's paid for.
Well, that's a problem. Like that, everybody thinks. I had a conversation with a guy, and we're getting off topic, but a couple Fridays,
that would never happen.
But a couple Fridays ago, I had a guy, and that came up, and he's like, I'm not going to make it. And I go, well, under what basis? Oh, my bad is overweighing my good, and that's everybody. If you've ever read the Bible, you read it, and you're like, I can't believe that it was this clear, but we have this perspective of God is a banker sitting there, right? And he's weighing out the deeds. You got your good deeds, your bad deeds. And at the end of the day, if the good deed scale outweighs the bad deeds, you're in the clear.
Mm-hmm.
But scripture says it's kind of the opposite. The wages of sin, singular, is death. Like if you have one thing on your resume, you're guilty. And because I'm holy and I can't have any sin with me at all, like I'm just too. So we throw away the justice aspect.
I'm just guilty.
Right.
I don't know how else to put that.
Yeah. And it's, that's what the beautiful thing is. Like we talk about Jesus on the cross, and it doesn't add up and make sense. If you can be good enough, he wouldn't have had to die on the cross. But because you can't be good enough, he paid the penalty. So it'd be like, one of the best analogies I've ever heard of was, you're on trial, you're guilty, the rendering comes and the judge says he did it and takes the sentence. So it was paid, even though you're guilty. The judge says, no, that guy didn't do it. It was actually me. So when you say, dude, I have sinned, I've fallen short, and you accept it, then all of a sudden you go from the guilt and all of that being there to it being taken away, past, present, future. And then you never have to worry about the scales.
Okay, then.
But then that's how you lose the religion, because then it becomes, okay, now you're adopted into the family and you're a son. You're no longer bound to these rules. Like, follow them because they're good for you.
Right.
Which is cool.
Okay.
So we won't talk about religion, but every so often I will talk about Jesus.
I get it.
But I'm not going to tell you that you have to do that, because that's something that I accepted.
And that's how it goes.
That's it.
All right. So you brought up the cup. And what's in the cup today?
Invader Coffee.
So
we're, other than my Christian channel sponsoring us with mugs, we're not sponsored, but one of the things we wanted to do was stuff that just helps us get through the day. Like
stuff that we like, stuff that we're kind of passionate about, like items or whatever.
If it's something that I love and I promote it, it's good for the company, and that thing that I love doesn't go away.
Right. And there's one thing that I got into last year for the first time in my life was coffee. It was coffee-flavored coffee. And
coffee-flavored coffee.
Well, because I don't like the artificial flavoring of stuff, the weird syrupy stuff that
I don't either.
That's my thing. Now, my father-in-law, he loves this. I think it's like a French vanilla type of thing, but he loves it. Cool.
Right. My wife, she goes to Starbucks, and if you want to impress your lady, memorize her Starbucks order.
No. Just get Invader Coffee.
That too.
Okay. And I did bring this for the simple fact that I wanted Andy to taste it, number one.
It's good.
And we wanted to talk about something that we liked. Now, this is a veteran-owned coffee company, but it's not like other coffee companies that they just go and get whatever bean and they do this and they do that, and all of a sudden, they slap their name on it. No, these people are legit. They are in the top 1% of the world that actually air roast their coffee.
I love a good air roasted coffee.
And it is a specialty thing, and they got an amazing amount of different thing. And like I believe I said, it is veteran owned. It is a specialty coffee. They have everything from a light roast to a dark roast. They got a Mexican chocolate that is it's so delicious.
I was on the website yesterday, and I'm going to be getting ready to order the darkest roast that they
I would
offer.
say the Plat Mac blend, the organic dark roast. I had that, and it's phenomenal. It's so good, and you don't get a weird caffeine rush with any of it. I've had like 3 different ones. It has like such a low acidic base to it, like it doesn't. You don't even realize. You go to a gas station, you get their specialty blend or whatever, and next thing you know, you're like, what the, like, I don't, whatever. This, I'm telling you, just look into it. Invader Coffee, West Whitlock, Marine. Great. Everything about it's great. And speaking of comments of earlier, leave it in there. What coffee?
What's yours?
What should we try, or what should we go for? That'd be great.
I was about to say, the moment I pulled my thing out,
Hey, now.
and then I was like, wait, that's the wrong terminology. But I presented my item to you, and you're like, what is that? And it's right here. It's right here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a tea guy too. So on top of coffee, I like tea.
I love tea.
And I love
tequila.
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 I'm not a sugar guy.
Okay.
And this is kind of like, I would prefer this to be unsweetened, but it's not overly sweetened.
Okay.
But what I like about it is it's caffeine free.
Okay.
So that's what attracted to me originally, because if I have caffeine past 1, I'm up all night. Like, it hits me for the rest of the day. So I'm like clockwork, age old. I'm an old dude, and I got to be careful now because I don't want to be up all night. So I was looking for something that was caffeine free.
Okay.
And here, check it out.
Yeah. I was just gonna grab it.
So,
oh gosh, I'm showing my age here.
I get this at our local Giant Eagle. Walmart doesn't carry it, and usually they only.
And for those who know me, yes, I actually had to put glasses on to read.
You're making a spectacle of yourself.
I am. That reminds me. I have friends with this guy David, and he got his ID stolen, so now we just call him Dave. But anyway, so go ahead. So your tea
I forgot
here.
to start our timer.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So this Arizona.
Now they say
tea.
RX stress on it.
Mm-hmm. Who's Rex?
That's what I said. But I don't know if it actually helps with stress, because as life goes, I'm a pretty stress-free guy. So I don't get stressed out that easy. So
the chamomile flower and the valerian root is the stress-free part.
Right.
If you ever have trouble sleeping, try valerian root. Anything with valerian root is absolutely fantastic to fall asleep with. It doesn't give you a weird hangover. It's a flower. It's a root.
We could crack this open later too if you want to try some.
Yeah, we're definitely going to.
But like I said, it's light, not lightly sweetened, but man, Arizona, I know you're watching this, because why wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
An unsweetened version, hint of lemon maybe, but yeah, that stuff is awesome.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to, crack that open here.
All right.
So you go first.
Do we want to start our list? We're gonna give a list of, before we get into the who I am. Do we want to do the food, the song, and the movie, or do we want to do that last?
I say we save it for last.
Yeah, so we've decided too that every episode we're going to give you our food of the month, our song of the month, and we're going to recommend a movie or a TV show.
And that's where you guys come in too. Like, this is where we want you to play along. Is we want, a different movie, a different song, a different food,
right?
Different restaurant, especially if people are around our area, Pittsburgh area, and if you're not. I know I go a lot of different places. Andy, you drive all over the place,
all over.
for work. And, so bring it on, please. Feel free. That'd be great. So, yes, we'll save that stuff for later. And who are you?
I think I kind of tackled a little bit of my thought and opinion on this question in the last episode, because as society, if you would walk up to any random person and say, "Who are you?" I guarantee you that at least 75% of the people would start off with their occupation.
After their name.
After their name. And I think people really identify with what they do.
Okay.
And I don't think that what we do defines who we really are
Absolutely
as a person.
Not. Nope.
And with this question, I almost have to give my whole life story, which is probably what's going to happen from a young age up until today and all that, because that really defines who we are. Now, if I had a 2-sentence, you have to describe who you are, I'd always started off with, I'm a Christian, born again believer in Jesus Christ, and then I'm a husband and a father, because that is really where my identity comes from. Because before God created the universe, he knew that I was going to be here today and that I was going to get adopted. So, that's first and foremost who I am. But then I also, will go into like probably more of my struggles in life. Like as a dyslexic person, I like to tell people that, I'm dyslexic and it's hard to read out loud. When I do sermons at the church, I have to sit there and read rather slowly, and I almost dramatize it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch my my church channel, when I read from there, there's some times where I stutter and stumble and get mixed up and confused.
I think the first one you did about that, I think you even mentioned that,
mm-hmm.
that you were. And so you were having kind of a difficult time, which I thought was awesome to say for your first one, for your first, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
good. But, my life story, my mother and father, my dad was married before he met my mother, and he had 2 daughters, my 2 oldest sisters, half sisters. Then they got divorced, married my mom. They had their first son, which is my oldest brother, Ken, then me, and then my youngest brother, Patrick. Okay. So I am the middle. And if any of you out there are middle children, like, it's tough. Being a middle child, like, you're kind of floating in this territory where you're along for the ride. And then usually it always falls to, well, this is what your brother wants to do, your older brother, or this is what your younger brother wanted to do. Now, my parents loved me very much. My mom, my dad, though, he was an alcoholic. So, the last episode you talked about your dad and you wanted to be your dad. Mm-hmm. My whole life, my dad was the example of who I didn't want to be like. And I have memories.
Oh, I understand that.
I have memories of talking to my sisters and being like, you threw a shoe at me one time when I was real little, 5, 6. And I was like, I can't wait till I'm your size.
Did he yell shoe? Like,
no.
No?
No, just. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And so, like, I was like, I can't wait till I'm your size so I can just beat the living snot out of them. It's tough. Like,
yep.
Being a dad, when my son tells me, like, dude, Dad, I love you. And Dad, will you cuddle me? Like, I love holding my son and I love him cuddling on the couch, but it's like, it's still so foreign of an idea to me from just like the dad being the guy you didn't want to be like.
Because you were looking for a security.
Right.
You were looking for that happy place. And your son found it. You're his security.
Right.
You're his happy place. And that's being a dad. And I can tell you from as he gets older, it gets so much more fun. So much more hard. You get to the point where you're like, why isn't this person talking to me? And they're like, huh? Like, what, are you mad at me? No, why? Well, you haven't talked to me in 3 days. Oh. Okay, good talk. What just happened?
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. My mom was great. Like, she wasn't an alcoholic at all. But, from that aspect of being young, I was like, I have a beer every now and again, but I was on guard. Like I didn't want to be an alcoholic. And my
I get
dad
it.
loved me. He was there. He was like Anakin Skywalker, right? Dude, I know there's a good guy in you, but you're kind of consumed by Darth Vader.
Right.
You know, and he's passed away. And since that has happened, it's been easier not to be like, okay, like, dude, I can forgive all the things. And I've tried so much in the past to do that. And then I'd talk to him and be like, there you go again. Like you're doing all this stuff and people are hard. And when it's your dad, it's like, I think it hits a little harder.
Yeah. I got you.
So
what do you do for work?
I fix equipment for Snap-on Tools, the largest automotive equipment manufacturer in the world.
Okay.
Tire machines, tire balancers.
I was gonna ask. That's where I was going.
Alignment machines, AC machines. That's kind of like the main territory of the stuff I fixed. Before that, after I graduated school, like graduating school was my goal in life because of the dyslexia. It was tough. I had to repeat second grade twice. It was D's and C's like my whole way through school, except for senior year when I actually got help for dyslexia. I was getting A's and B's.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens.
Right, like, but the school didn't want to. They tested me, and I had 11 out of the 12 symptoms, and like, no, it's not dyslexia because they didn't want to get the help that I needed. So,
yeah,
and I mean, school's tough. You know, when you go to the special ed class, like, you get picked on. And I was small. I wasn't a muscular kid. And so like I'm getting verbally bullied at home by my dad. He never physically like abused us, but he was top tier verbal bully. Like he would belittle you because of his own insecurities, right? You know, how many people when they're insecure about themselves, they just hammer and beat up on other people. So
it's amazing how it always seems like it's not adults.
Yeah.
They like, they don't say it to adults.
Right.
Because they know if they do, you're probably going to get, you know, some verbal abuse back, if not some physical abuse. It's a lot easier to pick on a kid. And
he was abusive to my mom too, but she's little and a girl, you know.
See what I mean though?
There was 1 year after I did get bigger, and he was going off on her about something, and I got so mad. It was Christmas time. I grabbed him, and before I go on with the story, like my dad was in the martial arts too when he was young, and he was a white belt his whole life because he didn't want to learn the forms, but like he progressed to learn all of the stuff up until black belt minus the forms. So like, you know, he'd tell all these stories about bar fights and this and that, and the 1 year, like he hit me so hard with like what he was saying to my mom. I picked him up, not like lifted him up, but I grabbed him and threw him into the Christmas tree, knocked the Christmas tree down. And that was like the time he was ever the most proudest of me for standing up to myself and throwing him into a Christmas tree.
Right.
I was like, that's not probably one of the things you should be proud of me about because you're the reason I had to do it. But even in school, one time it was 5th grade, I got so fed up because I was standing and, you know, how things just, you talked about last week, you know, dude, you're not a punching bag, right?
Right.
And it was probably after like a bunch of like, dude, he can't read because we're reading out loud, and he stumbles, and I was standing around, and then one kid came up from behind me and pulled my pants down, and I was at my locker was open, and I actually did pick him up physically and stuffed him in, and I was about to start wailing on him when I heard a teacher screaming, and we both got detention, and I'm like,
retaliation penalty.
Right. I was like, but I don't know. I felt bad at the time, but I was like, you know what? It's the first time I ever like stood up to myself, and I didn't regret it.
Good.
But then like, it was funny because we're in detention and it's just me and him, and the teacher left. So it's just me and him in the room, and he's like, dude, you know, I'm sorry. Do you want to be friends? And I'm like, he's probably just mad that I was about to pummel him. And I was like, he was one of the cool popular kids. And I'm like, yeah, sure. But like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Right. Cold acquaintances.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. But so like, you know, we talk about who are you? And I think I learned a lot through school, like that stuff doesn't define me, and how to stand up for yourself, and not just physically, because that was the only time I ever like got into a physical moment with a particular person, and in the Christian society, homeschool is a big deal. But I decided, like, I want my son to go to public school because I learned more how to deal with people in these situations than I would have sticking in homeschool.
Yeah.
Not that homeschool is bad, but like that was the key decision because all of our friends are doing homeschool.
Yeah, and there's so many different versions of homeschool now. You know, like my daughters they do PA cyber.
Nice.
And they love it. The house isn't a prison. Every year at the end of the year, or actually halfway through the year and at the end of the year, we sit down, and this has been going on for years. It's a simple question. Do you want to go back to public school? Before I even get the statement out, the question out, they're like, no. And I know it has to do with they get to, wake up later.
Right.
But I have not one complaint. Now I do have one complaint about PA Cyber. And it's so ridiculous of the complaint. It's not, it's just because, how we grew up, in school. There's certain things that we believe in, and there's certain things that there's timing. There's this is done here. This needs to be handed in here. And they give like this insane grace period.
Ooh.
Like it's like a 10-day grace period. So if something's due on a Tuesday, well, you still have 10 more days. And then if you don't finish it, as long as you turn it in before the end of the period, but before the end of the grading period, that's really the only thing. Other than that, I get phone calls from the teachers like every 3 months. My wife gets phone calls from the teachers every 3 months. Just,
nice.
Hey, I just got a call for my daughter's sociology teacher. He's like, hey, this is me. This is this is that. This is how good, whatever the conversation was. It's like public schools don't do that. Or at least the public school I went to, didn't do that. And you were talking about help, like when you were a kid. Like,
what's nice about our school district is,
what school district is it? Like
Freeport.
Okay.
So, the last episode, I remember talking about my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law going on the ghost tour where they're like, this place isn't haunted, but there was a place just like it. Right. But, I don't like to use the in-law term because like, that's my sister and my brother,
and that's family. Right.
Right. And, this is part of who I am too, in the sense of like, I don't believe that family is something you're born into. It's something that you earn and you become a part of. So like my dad, yeah, he was my dad, and again, like he loved me, but he never felt like family.
Mm-hmm.
But my father-in-law feels more like a dad than my real dad ever did. So like, he's my dad, man.
It's like outside of here, outside of you and I talking, I can honestly say that, I have 2 other brothers and another sister. None of us are related.
Yeah.
at all. But I can guarantee you, if I called any one of those 3 o'clock in the morning, I would have the help I need. If I went up to them and, like there's the movie quote, Ben Affleck, went up to, I forget who, and said something to the effect of, we're going to go do some bad things to some bad people or, whatever. Right. And the guy goes, well, whose car are we taking? I mean, those are like the type of friends that I now have. And it is.
Yeah.
And we all rely on each other for very different things. But it is like, that is my outside immediate family. Like that is my family.
Yeah.
Like those 2 dudes and that girl.
Yeah. So where I was going with that whole scenario is my wife's brother, my brother, he was the principal of the Freeport High School, but now he got promoted to vice super Nintendo.
Oh, jeez.
So he's going to be the vice super Nintendo of the Freeport School District. So like my son is,
and we understand that he said Nintendo before he.
Ralph Wiggum, Super Nintendo Chalmers.
Right.
So now it's always the Super Nintendo.
Right.
But back to like more stories of brothers.
I gotta try it.
Good. Yeah, brothers from another mother. My thing hanging up there.
Okay.
That was a endurance go-kart race that I did with a brother from another mother. Do you want me to wash your cup out?
No.
Okay.
We're good. I'm just gonna shake it up just in case.
Sometimes the little cap there.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
It's
two-piece jigsaw puzzle.
Right. So if you see that frame up there, that is the timesheet from an endurance go-kart race that I did with my brother from another mother.
Okay.
And he was in his 60s. He passed away recently from COVID complications and a bad heart. Okay. But like that particular race, I'm watching for him to call him in because we had to make driver changes. It was a 2-hour endurance kart race. So same kart, team of 3 guys, changed drivers, and he had a heart condition and I go to call him out. I don't see him come back. It's not bad.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
It's a lot smoother and not as sweet as I was gonna think it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had pit signs to call him in, doesn't come by. 4 laps go by and I don't see him. So I go running to the race director. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to call my driver and I haven't seen him come around in 4 laps. He looks on the timesheet and he goes, you guys are down 4 laps. I'm like, that's what I'm telling you. He has a heart problem. I don't know if he's dead somewhere or what's going on. He goes, I don't know what. And then I look and I saw him walking and I'm like, Ted, what happened? He's like, ran a hole through the tire, drove the tires off of it. But
drove the tires off
of the tires off of the car, and they changed it, and we got back out, and I set the 3rd fastest team lap of the whole race, and we ended up finishing.
That's cool.
Yeah, we pulled up because by the time I got out, I did the last stint. We were dead last, and I was able to pile up and make my way back up the ranks. But my mom knew about him and knew it. One time she goes, your buddy Ted, do you look at him as a father figure because of the hard times you had with your dad? I'm like, no, he is my brother. Like, we get in the brother stuff. He's not a dad.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between like a dad relationship and a brother relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, but I think I got into the movie theater a little bit the last episode too.
You did. You were talking about you worked at the movie theater and you met the radio guy.
Yeah.
Who I still think I know who it was.
Oh.
That's why I asked
nice.
Where it was, because locally there was a person, a radio personality that owned a business. I don't know if he wants to be known, so I'm trying not to, but not too far from here, actually. And whenever you brought that up, that's why I was like, well, where was it? Because not many people can say like they met somebody in radio and it's local.
Right.
It's kind of the same area. So, but yeah, no,
cool.
you brought that up and you brought up your win for the Austin Powers concert.
You listen.
That's groovy, baby.
Yeah. So the movie theater is a very, very big influence on who I am. Okay. Because they didn't know that I was the dyslexic kid that went to the sped classes, and that I couldn't read out loud. So I had this whole life of like, dude, you're the dumb kid, like you're gonna amount to nothing. And my mom was a teacher in my school district. So my 2 brothers are like straight A students. Both of my sisters, they did not go to our school district, but they were smart. So like, I was the black sheep when it came to academics, and I hated it. And I went to the theater and like instantly I was a popular kid. Everybody loved me. It was easy to get along. I could talk to everybody. And at that point, I realized. That's what
you were saying about going to the movie theater. You actually did say I went to I started working in a movie theater in a different school district.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you put it. You didn't put it as my first job was at a movie theater. No, it was my first job was at a movie theater in a different school district.
Right.
So obviously that had a huge impact.
It was huge. It was very big. And in fact, the people that I did talk to at school who were in like my different work groups and stuff were sick and tired of hearing me talk about the movie theater because like, you know, you look back at high school and how many people say like these were the best years of my life, and not me.
Trust me, one of my goals is like to not
Right.
bring up high school.
So, have you ever heard of the movie I Am Number 4?
No, but I know that there's an Iron Maiden song that kind of touches
Yeah.
on.
So it was,
you know,
it
that
was
was from the Prisoner, which was an actual TV
Right.
show.
So I was going to talk about that as my recommended movie, which I'm not. I changed it,
Okay.
but I watched it last night again, and there's a scene. The main character's an alien from another planet, and there's another alien race who's like, their thing is they go from planet to planet, annihilating everybody. So like these 9 people escape, and they trace them down the Earth to finish the job. You know,
Fifth Element.
Yeah, it's cool though. But so like, he's a high school kid, and they're getting bullied by the main jock, and the nerd kid is like, don't worry, he's living in the last year of the best 4 years of his life. You know, and that was so many of the people that I knew. But
Yeah.
if you are one of those people and you're watching, I still love you.
I don't know.
Because why wouldn't you be watching?
Right. Right.
But yeah, like they were sick and tired of me talking about the theater, because that was like, I was getting paid to be the cool kid. And, you know, from being this socially quiet, awkward kid to they would have sell competitions, like whoever sells the most popcorn buckets this night, or whoever sells the most X, Y, or Z. And I won all the time.
Do movie theaters even still do stuff like that?
I doubt it.
Because it doesn't seem like, I don't know. It just, everything nowadays.
But I mean, it was like,
backwards to me.
We had awesome prizes like cash money and the big stereos. You remember back in the 90s and 2000s, like you had your own little stereo with a CD player built into it, and tape decks so you could create your mixtapes. Yeah.
Still have one, because I still have a box of tapes. Just the tapes, not the actual not the actual covers and the case that it came in. I don't know why. I was one of like I never kept those. I don't know why. Probably because I took out the thing and, you know, the fold and looked at it and read the lyrics and was like, oh, that says that. It doesn't know. I thought it said something about ramen noodles. It doesn't.
Right.
You know? So yeah, I lost all that, but I still have a giant box of like tapes, and the rule in my house is you could throw out a lot of my stuff. Whatever. That don't throw that out. Right. Please don't throw it. I may not ever listen to it again. But just don't throw it out. Because I know there's at least 3 or 4 tapes that I have that are out of print. They don't make the tape, the album, the CD, or nothing. In fact, some of it's actually kind of hard to find, even on Spotify or something, because it had something to do with, you know, that band and the record company. They're just like, there's no music of it, and I have some of those tapes.
Let me ask you a question that pops up into my mind a lot, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But what is the most amount of money you would pay for your favorite song?
Well, I would have to say 0, because I have so many favorite songs, and it literally does go with, you know, my mood or how I wake up in the morning and just what I'm feeling like. I can literally go from, you know, Bertie Higgins' Key Largo, for those of you who are familiar with yacht rock, which was one of my favorite songs of all time. I remember my mom listening to it. I was just a little kid. But I can go from literally Bertie Higgins singing Key Largo, and the very next song, you know, be Sucker by Motorhead. So I can't answer that very well, because I just have so many favorite songs.
So I'm lucky because my wife hates talk shows, so she won't watch this. So I can tell you, I paid $60 once to have a CD imported from Italy because you could not buy it in the United States.
Nice. Which one was it?
I'll show you.
Oh no, it wasn't REM.
It wasn't REM.
Okay. Just because you brought up REM.
It was right.
Before.
It's right here.
You always jump to a secret location.
The Rapture quotation marks metal because it's a metal band, and I guess they eventually disbanded because they've had to change their name a bunch of times because like, no, dude, our band's called Rapture or this and that. And there's a song on there, Misery 24/7, that was at the time like my favorite song. So, and
here we go. Another thing we're throwing on the table. I think
you can probably get it there, get it here now, more than you could back in the day.
Do my Vanna.
Oh no! I'm gonna have to call Italy and get another one.
I mean, I could go to Italy for you.
That'd be nice. But yeah, like it took scouring before I could finally find it, and you couldn't download it online. And now I think I know a lot of their other albums you can find on iTunes, but
there's
I haven't checked to see if this one is on there yet.
Gorgeous Frankenstein.
That's what I feel like sometimes.
I get it, but you can't find their stuff. And if somebody has their CD or tape or something and wants to,
but like that's why I like to ask that question, because I got to the point where I was like, is this song worth me paying $60 for?
No, as you're talking about yourself, what made you do that?
I loved the song. It was worth it to me. I took that
it hit something.
Right.
It hit something in you, which is why music has been around forever and a day. And there's so many different genres of music.
Right. And it's weird because like even when I talk about being the outcast at school, I've always been a positive, upbeat kind of person. We kind of talked about before we even started, do I look at things negatively or do I look at it positively? And as we walk down the road and you have a rock in your shoe, like it doesn't matter how much good stuff is going on, you notice that there's a rock in your shoe and that's all you can think about. Right. So I think there are times where there's certain scenarios where you realize you thought of something, but that doesn't mean that you're not generally a positive person, I don't think. But
it's very positive about the negativity.
Yeah.
Dude, I wrote a paper about that. That's actually what it was titled. The positive thinking about negativity.
That's an interesting. We'll have to do that as an episode sometime.
I think. Yeah, no. It was
we
cool.
did last episode. We did say that we were going to talk about the youth, maybe this one, but we decided to give the people what they wanted.
Because there were, in all honesty, there were 3 people that actually brought that up to me about talk about yourself more. Who are you guys watching? And unfortunately, if we bore some of you with this episode, I apologize now, but the next one will be more fun.
I think it's good though, because I love sitting down and listening to a conversation about people hashing out like this is my life and this is the roadmap. Especially for me as a Christian, I can look back now and I can say like I see how God builds the puzzle of my life and how like each and every one of these moments was all leading up to who I am today. The dyslexia was at the time it was tough and it was hard. But last episode too, I talked about like if it's easy, is it really worth doing? And when you persevere through something that's hard, that's not a burden. It's strengthening your integrity and who you are and how you make decisions. So, and it equips me to help somebody who is in that position, which is another reason why we started this. We're not going to tell you how to live your life and how to do these things, but we're going to tell you this is how I got through it. And this was my way of making it there. And it's good to hear other perspectives. I think of
because you can give people ideas and let them, think for themselves.
Yeah.
We've all been through, crap.
I think of life, like when you look at all the superhero movies, right? You have your main superhero, especially the TV ones that are on like Netflix and stuff, the Jessica Joneses and those. You have your main hero who's like, we have a problem. And this is absolutely the only way that we can solve this problem. And the sidekick's like, but what about this way? No, that way it can never work. It'll never do anything. So the sidekick sneaks off and does it over there. And all of a sudden it all works out. And the main character's like, I can't believe that worked. And that's the point. Like we're saying like, dude,
very Adam West of you.
I tried.
Oh man.
But so movie theater. Back to the question at hand. And I feel bad because I'm rambling on about myself, but I told you it's a long story.
I get it.
And yours is
Well, no,
you're more advanced. I'm not going to say that you're older, but you're more advanced in years.
I have done and witnessed and been a part of a lot more things that, you know, I don't talk about and I don't want to bring up because there are people involved that either don't deserve to have their name mentioned. I don't, even if it's in a bad way. But I just don't want to mention their name. That for whether it's good or bad. You know, so you know, yeah, I've been through, you know, quite a bit, not as much as some people I know, but a lot more than other people, you know, that I know. So, but
yeah. So, you know, there I am. I'm winning competitions in sales and doing that stuff, and I didn't do school sports because I didn't like the jockey people and I didn't like the rules of sports. So I was a skateboarder. You know, we kind of mentioned that the last time, and I had my group that I skateboarded with, and in my childhood, that's probably one of the things that I miss the most is on a hot summer night, sitting on a cool slab of cement, drinking a Coke, skateboarding, and like wrapping up the wounds because you tried to jump a 7 set of stairs on your board, even though you didn't know how, and you're bleeding everywhere. But
yeah,
like just those days of 2 o'clock in the night, sitting on a cold slab of cement with a cold Coke and a skateboard with your friends, like that was cool.
It's crazy when you're talking about yourself, and there's so much that parallels, and we didn't even know each other existed.
Right.
If it wasn't for that one happenstance of, you know, martial arts.
Right.
And it's crazy. And this is why conversation is good with people.
Not to mention, before I met my wife, I was engaged to somebody you knew. And
literally up the street,
right,
in the same neighborhood from me.
I don't even remember. Yeah, I think you said I'm from Plum, and I was like, I used to date a girl from Plum.
Yeah.
And you're like, who was it? And I was like,
and you told me, and I was like, really?
I actually like part of my life story is like, that's all good. He stepped on my foot. We're playing footsies. I feel bad about how that whole scenario with her ended up because I didn't handle it well. But I'll probably get there as my life story. But
you were young. I mean, how many situations of a romantic nature did any of us really handle well on both sides at a young age?
So like from
you know,
that might be a good point to lead into this part of the conversation, because at the theater, there was a cute girl that I liked, you know, and at this point I have dated people, but there was nothing ever like super serious. No, I take that back, because at this point, when I met this other girl at the theater, I did have a pretty serious girlfriend who is very, very smart from my school, who knew my cousin. And that was cool because that taught me a lot about relationships, and we broke up with each other on the same day. So that was a mutual understanding. And I was interested in this other girl from the theater, and we were hanging out one night, and she was like, you can't be bad. And I was like, gave her a little kiss, and then from there, like, we started dating, and that was cool. But
was this the person you were telling me about when we were?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say,
the one whose mom was rooting for me.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I was trying to eat that chicken sandwich and pretend it was good. the overpriced chicken sandwich that I'm not going to mention. It just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. If you ever go to the place that we went to, don't order the chicken sandwich.
You have that though, but like I think that built my confidence, and then we broke up, and from there it was kind of like a rebound, bouncing around and trying to figure out who I was.
Playa.
Right. Started getting help with the dyslexia. Went to a special school, and from that point, they made me take an IQ test. And like, I'm not a smart guy. I scored 126 or 128 on the IQ test, and they told me that was incredibly good.
Okay.
That was the first time.
Is there an average? Like, I've never. I don't know anything
she said
about an IQ
she
test
said
or
that
anything.
you are she's like, you're like 1 or 2 points away from actually being classified as genius. And that was the first time I ever took a test, and somebody was like, you have
love Guinness.
You're right. I had one when we went to the
you did
the
that's
restaurant.
Right. Yeah. Genesee cream ale is like one of my favorite things. That's an old man thing.
Yeah.
Like,
so like, yeah, you're a Guinness. Yeah. And I'm like, that was the first time I ever took a test, and somebody like gave me positive.
That's cool.
Info on. I was like, wow, this is cool. I can do that. So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to college. This is what I'm gonna do. So I got accepted to Penn State New Ken, graduated my senior year with A's and B's, which was like awesome for me.
About that, right?
And then I quickly learned that college was not for me because I had a philosophy teacher who was trying to teach that humans invented sleep as a form of time travel. My psychology teacher
is such a hard class.
Like, I'm like, I don't care if you're teaching me that to try and get me to think about what you're saying, but it never at any point is like, I want you to think about this statement. He's like, teaching it is a thing.
And that's where I think philosophy classes are such crap.
Right.
In colleges, because, you go back to, philosophers of ancient times, and that's what they were doing. They were trying to expand people's minds.
Right.
They were trying to get people to stop thinking like, oh, this is a stone and that's a stone. And, they were trying to expand. And now I think there's too much focused on, this is what it is.
Right.
I said it's true. I said this is what it is. So this is what it has to be.
And this, like what we're doing now, it's kind of a philosophy thing all on its own. We're just talking about life. Like, this is how I thought of it. And that's what, like, how'd you think of it? And I had a psychology class and I was getting an A in it, and I didn't do any of the work. I was like, there's no way that I should be getting an A if I'm not reading the books and I'm not doing the work. So I gave it up, and I was like, I'm going to go to tech school and be a mechanic. I liked cars. I was always a car guy, working on. That was
going to be one of my questions is, how did you get on into this
so even in
thing? And like we mentioned before, that how good you are with mechanics.
My favorite book report that I did in school was on did you see the movie Ford versus Ferrari, or at least hear about it?
I know about it.
I have the poster right there.
But other than your poster,
right.
I do know about it. I kind of know the background.
I did a book report on it in high school, and that was my favorite book report I ever did.
Did you mention Magnum PI at all?
I didn't.
Because of Ferrari.
I know.
The original Magnum PI.
Well, I always argue.
Selleck.
Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah. But like, I loved that story. So that was my favorite book report I ever did. And then they were like, "Oh, look, check it out. We're making a movie." I'm like, I know this whole story.
That's awesome.
I was all pumped about it. But even in the at the movie theater, I had a group of car guys, and that was around the time Fast and the Furious came out and Gone in 60 Seconds.
Never watched one iota of Fast
There's
and the Furious.
only 2 that are real movies. Number 1, Tokyo Drift. And I don't care. I will fight this with you. If you tell me Tokyo Drift was garbage, we're gonna get in the fisticuffs, because it's classic gold. Everything else is garbage.
I know about Fast and the Furious is there was a girl who was in Sin City, who was in Fast and the Furious. That's as much as I know about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was as a car guy, like Vin Diesel's race car in the first movie was a 93 RX-7. I have a 93 RX-7, and like, not because of the movie, but like that was always my dream car as a kid when it came out in 93. And then it was in the movie, and I'm like, dude, we were all about it. Dream car. I was born in the 1900s, so I'm not a tech guy either. Last episode we talked about tech. I'm not a tech guy. I figure it out. But so like that's where the car stuff came from. I was like, you know what? I like tearing stuff apart. It's a great hobby. And after 7 years of being a mechanic, I learned that people will tell you, like, if you have a hobby, turn it into a job. I will warn everybody against that, because I took my hobby and made it a job. Yep. And now I like go-karting because they're easy, but my car has been broken in the garage for 7 years. I needs an apex seal, and it just sits there because I don't want to do it. It's a job.
You need a spreadsheet.
So right, I need a spreadsheet. I know how to do it, and I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't want to do it.
Right.
Because it became work. And so from there.
Oh, hold on. Does anybody actually make spreadsheets for personal things? Help me out here, because I don't know anybody who does. So if you do, please say you do, and how and why, and does it really help? Because again, like I've said before, I've never done one. I don't know anything about it. I just write stuff down on a notebook paper and go, okay, I did that.
Right.
But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No. So I was going to be a mechanic, and that's how Snap-on came around. I was sick of it. Like, it was work. The money was terrible. Especially, I was in a dealership environment, and warranty pays, like, the way that garages work is they do, it's called flat rate. So it pays X amount of hours per job. And then when you're dealing with Pennsylvania rust, they don't factor that in, that you have to torch everything. So I got to a point where I realized that, like, this is the height, if I stay here, of what's going to happen. And this is the best advice I think I could give to anybody that I learned that I'm grateful was a lesson. I actually have to backtrack, though, because I skipped one of the biggest parts of my life lesson, is that, but to finish this thought and idea, I know so many people that are in a job situation that they hate. They can't stand it. And they're like, they keep going at it. I'm like, did you know that it's not going to cost you anything to just look into something different, to think about it, to search the papers for an idea, to talk to people? Like, you are not trapped in the terrible job.
Some people, I think that they feel trapped because they go, what if I'm not good enough?
Right.
Or, oh, I really want that job. I think I could be good at it. But it says you have to have this qualification, this qualification, this qualification. I'm not even going to try. But what if you don't have those qualifications and you try? And you get a phone call and you get an interview, and all of a sudden they're like, you know what? This person really, like, we really like this person. They don't have these qualifications, but we can make that happen. And they all of a sudden are investing in you. And now you just went from a job that you're just like, why am I here? To all of a sudden now you're like, I took a chance. And what can happen?
That's so I was at the point of, like, I can't do this anymore. And what it came down to was a buddy of mine was showing me his paycheck, and he had been there for a really long time, like 20, 25 years, and he was only making $2 an hour more than me.
Right.
And I was like, dude, I'm like barely getting by, and I don't want this anymore. And the Snap-on guy, him and I had a really good relationship, and he came in with the flyers like, hey, we're looking for dealers. And the way Snap-on, the tool side of it works, is that it's a franchise. So you buy a route and you get a tool truck, and your truck is your store, and you sell tools. I was like, I can sell stuff. I've sold stuff at the theater. I was good at that. I want to do this. And he's like, all right, got me in touch with the people. And I was like, because before I did repairs, I sold Snap-on tools is my own business. So I had a franchise business. And,
I didn't know that. That's wild.
I was in an MT-45 Freightliner that, back to my secret location.
Is that one of those, is that box truck, van?
Yeah, just
one of those. There we go.
But life-sized.
Life-size. You didn't fit into this.
I didn't. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I am going to do this. And I did do that for 3 years. And I made more money than I ever will in my life yearly. And like my first year, I netted $150,000. And like, I'm a college dropout, and I did that for 3 years, paid off all of my debts, but worked nonstop.
And there's some people that they want that.
They want that.
They do want that.
But like, I'm one of those weird guys that I love my wife, and I love spending time with my wife. And when we get into the banter of, guy banter, where they're like, oh, the old lady, this and the old, I'm like, dude, I love my wife. She's absolutely fantastic. She's Like I would never leave her for anybody in the world.
Did you ever watch the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Oh, it's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just asking because there's the part where he goes, "I love my wife. There are times."
It's the butt. We talked about the butt last time, right?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't even say that there. I mean, so like
That is such a fun movie.
I know it is.
Anyway, good. Sorry.
So, and she was very supportive of when we got into that, and she has anxiety. So like I put her through the ringer with all of my stupid ideas. So like she would say, "I love my husband," but
Yeah, I was
right.
I know how that is.
Right. So, you know, I made that money, got out of all kinds of debts and things, and realized
Cool.
like I could keep at it. I could keep making crazy money and miss out on life, or I can, again, like I'm in a scenario where it's not where I want to be because the money doesn't actually mean anything to, I mean, it does. I need enough to survive, but I'm a life guy. I like to live life. I like to live experiences. And whenever I can't do that because of work, it's time to find a way to make enough money to still have life. So 3 years of that, I was like, nope, it's time to get out of this and do something that makes life. So I went to a Ford dealership, Lincoln dealership, to do warranty administrating and service writing because I was like, I don't want to turn the wrenches, but I know the dealership world and it's comfortable. So I did that, and within about 3 months, I realized that this is the worst thing I've ever done. And I was.
Was it like an office environment? Like you had to sit?
I had a desk.
Okay.
And
yeah, that's not up your.
The money was. It was hard. Like it was a lot less than I was making. And even my buddy who helped me get in the door was like, dude, you're not going to be used to the kind of play money that you had with Snap-on. I'm like, I don't care. I want to be able to play. The play money with Snap-on's no good if I can't play.
Right.
And quickly, like, it drained the soul out of me. Like, absolutely drained the soul out of me. I was getting really involved in the church now. The first car dealership I worked at was a Chevy Mazda dealership, which is where I got introduced to what we Christians call the gospel. It's exactly what I said in the beginning of the video. Dude, you are going to go to hell if you don't ask Jesus to forgive you. There's no scale. There's no outweighing your deeds. And right. I got taught that by a guy named Vernon who found Jesus in the prison program. He was in prison. God changed his life. And I was like, I saw that it was real. You know what I mean? Like we talked about last time, being real, being the kind of guy who people look at and go, yeah, you know, that's a Christian. Well, dude, I was a criminal and I did all these things, but Jesus changed my life. And he went around giving the Bible verse of the day to everybody. Okay. So I was like, okay, I'm in on this. It makes sense. And there was a dramatic change. Bought a Bible, started studying, went to my grandma's church. My grandma was great. My dad's mom, like, she's probably the number one lady, tied with my mom on most influential people in my life. So she had passed away when I was 13, went to her church, started growing, expanding. Fast forward back to all these years later, it's probably 10 or 12 years later, where I'm at the warranty job and I'm like, I'm doing things in the church now. I'm helping lead a men's group. And
I took this picture. You brought up church. I took this picture. I was driving north.
Oh, that's awesome.
Check that out. That is one of the coolest architecture.
I love it.
And it's huge.
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead.
So I'm going to have to speed this up.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have time.
That's okay. But, I'm fine with that. We talked about that. Right. I'm cool. I can give you a summarized version, like real quick.
But like I said, though, it's that whole area. Like God was there. The dyslexia. Like He used that. He used my dad. He used my grandma to get me back into a church. He used me going to college to realize like maybe you should go to tech school. He used me being a mechanic to bring me into a saving relationship with him. He used that then to get me into the other dealership where. Oh yeah, it's the other. So
light bulbs.
Moving from dealership to dealership. The first one was there for a year. I get saved. I give my life to Jesus, and I'm like, I've reached everything that I've worked for my whole life. I wanted to get out of school because I hated school. I wanted to have a steady relationship, and I wanted to be in a career. Like, that's the point where I was like, once you hit this, you're going to make it. So I'm with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's steady. Like, we met at Penn State when my period there. So she was into me, and I was like, as a guy, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm at the dealership, and just accept Jesus, right? And like, everything's going smooth. And then all of a sudden they laid me off. I was like, now what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So found a quick job at a Sears as a tech, and like, you have a state inspection license. Like, they've never heard of anybody that's ever had a state inspection license. Like, yeah, I can do all of these things. So they hired me, and within a week, the dealership called me back. They're like, hey, we're busy again. Come on back. So I'm like, awesome. Like, let's do this. Quit Sears after 1 week, because it was pretty bad. Go to the dealership, work 1 week. That Friday, they're like, we got to lay you off again. I'm like, use me for a week to get caught up. I'm like, I'm not going back to Sears. So I contacted my old manager from the movie theater. I'm like, yo, check it out. This is what's happening. Like, do you have any management positions open? And he's like, so actually we do, up in Sarver. Like,
okay, yeah,
right up the road. I'm like, so at this point I went from pretty much the guy owned 3 different locations, and this took me to the 3rd one. I worked at the waterworks.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to college, I moved to Cheswick because I was only, I could ride my bicycle down to that one. And then from there, I went to be a manager at the main theater.
Okay.
Not the main theater, but this one.
Yeah.
And that's where I met my wife.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So I met my wife, and I'm currently engaged to the girl you knew.
Yep.
Which, again, I didn't handle this very well, and I feel bad about it. But, after working, so Jesus is doing this thing in my life. I'm drastically changing. And I meet my wife. I'm like, I'm trying to ignore her, but it was just like instant.
Mm-hmm.
There was a chemistry there.
I get it.
And throughout my whole life, there are these girls that I was like, I really like them, but they have boyfriends. I have a girlfriend. And at this point, I was like, I'm heading in this different direction, and she doesn't seem to want to go that way. And man, Megan really is into me too, but Megan's trying to be like that. And we ended up at the same party together, and we were playing volleyball. And at that point I was like, she's going to be my volleyball partner for the rest of my life. Like,
not your competition. Like, you weren't
right.
Just like spiking it over the net.
Right. But no. So like, ending an engagement was one of the hardest things I ever had to do.
I've never done that.
Yeah, it was not easy on her. But like, I told myself, like, I'm not doing this again, where like I'm going to be in a point with somebody who I like a lot, but there's always going to be somebody else that
right.
is on my heart more. So I did man up and like ended that. So I'm with Megan now, and we start dating, and managers aren't allowed to date floor employees because she was a floor employee. So I went to Bilco, which was a car dealership, which is where I spent that whole time before I become Snap-on. She gets promoted to my manager job, which was cool.
Yeah.
But
how sweet of you.
Yeah. So that's that part of Sarver is important. And I say that because I'm at the Presbyterian Church in Springdale, where my grandma went, and I'm like, age bracket wise, again, like, dude, I'm not thriving here. I'm not growing. And my wife, at the same movie theater that I met her at the same movie theater chain that I learned that like, you're more than these things that define you in your life, like the puzzle pieces, right? Like, God brought me to the movie theater because I'm going to teach you a lesson on who you really are. And then I go to this other movie theater and I meet my wife. And she's like, I'm opening up for a church that meets at the movie theater. And she's like, you'll dig it. They have electric guitars and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, the movie theater is a big part of my life. It's who I am. So I'm like, I leave the Presbyterian church and I go there. And that's a church that I still go to today, that I'm the youth director of.
Right up.
Yeah, we have a building now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually have a building, but we met at the movie theater that I met my wife at, and I learned who I really was, and like, the puzzle pieces, man. Like,
get it.
And so my son, we just had his birthday party.
How old is he now?
7. It was his first party with like school friends.
Yeah.
It was at the movie theater. He wanted to have it at that movie theater. So
That's crazy.
Me and my wife used to run the parties in that party room, and like there was my son doing it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's got to make you feel good.
It was awesome.
Big proud moment.
Yeah. But then like we'll shorten it way up now. From there, from the poopy dealership where I'm doing the warranty, I get a phone call out of the blue one day. Hey, you're highly recommended by Snap-on management to be an equipment sales specialist. Can we interview you? I'm like, yes.
Sure,
like,
why not?
Please, let's do it. I got that job. And then from there, a long thing of scenarios led me into like, I'm going to move over to service because I like fixing things and I like not having the pressure of having to sell the stuff. And I just get to go and I get different shops every week. I get to meet new people,
cool.
And it's
so you
cool.
don't have like a set route type of thing.
I have a territory.
Yeah,
and
but
then they just
like
call.
You go to this store, this store,
right.
this. So you just kind of.
All of our customers call in when they have a problem, and then I go solve it.
That's cool. That's crazy. My dad kind of did this similar thing, except it was for computers, fax machines, copiers, and he worked for Burroughs, which was Fujitsu, which was Xerox. So yeah, that's what he did. He had a territory, and he would go all these different places and do the same thing on a tech scale. So
who am I? I'm a guy who God had a plan for and laid out all this cool stuff that I can look back on and see, like, look at how this one job changed my life. And
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's cool.
And I threw my dad into a Christmas tree.
Can't say that I did that.
So who are you, Mr. Kobe?
Well, like I told you, I have a really hard time saying like about me, because I honestly think I have changed myself so much over years. Like, it's not that, oh, this changed me or that changed me. Like, I literally said, I'm done with this. This is the new me. I'm done with that. I'm done here. It just
same
everything
deal.
rotates.
Like, I'm not defined by being trapped in something.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, I grew up in Plum, and Plum at the time was great. We had woods. We had a creek. We had a creek.
Okay, crawdaddies in there.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day there was trout in that creek. Sorry, I'm trying to be, Pittsburghese is creek.
The house before this one, we lived on Bull Creek.
Nice.
And right in trout season, they would pull up by our house and unload.
I know people. I just had a conversation with someone. They were saying trout, Bull Creek, and I'm like, okay, yeah. I went fishing today. I actually caught 2 for the first time in the 3 years I've been fishing. 2 in one day, and I caught 2 trout.
Nice.
Thank you, Bob Mertens. Bob Mertens told me this: go here, do this, use that. And I did exactly what he said, and I couldn't believe it.
Dude, we used to have family all the time during trout season. Hey, can we park in your... Come on over. If you get cold, come get a coffee.
Yeah, and bring me a trout.
Right.
You clean it.
I don't eat fish.
I started to. I started to. I don't remember where or whatever, but I
always say life's too short to eat fish.
I enjoy it. It's one of those things. But yeah, no, I was born and raised in Plum. Back when it was farm country. You could smell the corn, you could smell the manure, you could hear the cows, and it was fantastic. Went through crap, with older kids in the neighborhood, went through crap on a personal nature with a lot of different things. But, my mom met my dad whenever I was young. I was really young. And I remember that, and they got married, and I got to be in the wedding. I'm not saying I looked cool, but I looked cool. Yeah. What little kid doesn't look cool in a tux, man?
Dude, they all do.
Especially back in like the early 80s, white tux with peach. you know, kind of Austin Powersy.
I gotta find a picture
You
for you
know.
while you're talking. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
listening.
yeah. No, go ahead. And it was cool, you know. You know, I'm just gonna jump. I'm not really gonna focus too much on, you know, one thing, or this led me to this or this led me to that. But you know, I've seen a lot of cool things in my life. I've got to be a part of a lot of cool things. I grew up playing baseball, which I mentioned. I loved playing baseball, grew up getting dirty. You know, grew up loving music. I mean, 70s and the 80s, you know, MTV came out. How do you not love music when MTV
It's
came
not
out?
quite a tux, but
That is phenomenal. That's cool. I like the little bow tie.
yeah.
That's neat. But yeah, so no, the 80s music scene had a huge impact on me and the way I wanted to be. I wanted to be a rock star. You know, and it was cool. I became a drummer. I remember exactly why I became a drummer. I was laying on the floor. My dad was teaching me how to play chess. And it was when Motley Crue Home Sweet Home video came out. No lie. I'm sitting there facing the TV. My dad has his back here. My mom is sitting over here on the couch and she's flipping through the channel, you know, the couple channels. And it came on and she goes, I love this song. And it came on. And as I looked up, there's a scene in that video where Tommy Lee's twirling the drumstick and he's looking out like over top of his fingers.
I know that scene.
And I was like, something hit me. I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. So anybody who's ever seen me play live and I do the stick twirl thing,
That's why.
that is exactly why I'm doing it. And in my mind, that's what I look like. I
Do you-
look that cool
Do you
doing
still drum?
it. So no, in little. The last time I played my drums seriously for a long time was when one of my best friends passed away. So when BJ passed away, I needed some sort of outlet, or it was going to get ugly, you know. And I've been through certain deaths, and it was like all these things just, you know, coming back into my mind, and it was like I needed to do something, not drink. And I went to our rehearsal space. You know, I had a band, or I was in a band with one of my best friends, Mike Roberts, who got me this armband.
Oh.
Yeah, he got for his wedding. I was the best man
Okay,
at
that's
his
so
wedding.
cool.
Yeah, and he has one, I have one, and his son has one, and it's cool. You know, we were talking about family.
Right.
This is like
Family.
This is our like our
The
thing.
DNA.
Yeah, this is like our wedding ring almost. You know, me, him, and his son have one. That's it. He gave it to me and his son his wedding day, well, the night before, and we wore it on his wedding. And
I will say there's only two people
you know,
with a mug like this.
That's true, unless somebody wants one. Just saying. But
Leave it in the comments.
yeah. So no, I went to the rehearsal space where Mike and I were hanging out and jamming and stuff, and I put my little iPod on and I just played. I don't know how long, but I do know that my fingers were actually ripped open.
Ooh.
And I was a sweaty, nasty mess. And I played until I couldn't play anymore. Until I was just like physically, I couldn't do it anymore because I just couldn't get it out. People who were important to me, you know, passed away, and I just couldn't get it out. And I just kept going and going and going. So that happened. And, fast forward again. Yeah, or rewind, I guess we should say. It is rewind. You asked about drumming. But no, I've played maybe twice since then. And it was just set them up and jam. And it was like, okay, I'm going to put this away because this is getting to be too much fun again. And I don't want to go down that road, because with me and music, it's like you don't take the recovering alcoholic to a bar.
Right.
That's how I feel when I get behind those drums. I've played so many shows. I've played from here to Florida, and shows. I've played outside. I played inside. You know, I played at colleges. I played at bars. I played at bars where the only people there is your band and the other band and their girlfriends. Like you're the opening act, you know, and then all of a sudden, like you get done and the bar floods, and you're like,
all right,
damn, you know. But it's cool. You know, yeah, music was a huge part of my life, and anybody who's, you know, friends with me for an extended period of time, they know that. You know, I believe there should really be courses on, you're talking about psychology and philosophy. You know, I'll even go as far as saying sociology. There needs to be more things related to music, because it's a memory enhancer.
Sure.
You know,
but that's why I found it interesting, because we didn't put it on here, but one of the questions you wanted to bring up was the idea of what's a song that doesn't remind you of somebody. I'm like,
oh my God, I got it. Like you brought it up, and there was only one person I ever told, and it was recently. Michaela and I were on our way to karate, and Cheap Trick, The Flame, which is a ballad. I mean, it's a beautiful ballad. That's what it is. If you don't know it, look it up. It's fantastic. And it's one song, one ballad out of the 80s or whatever that does not remind me of anybody. And I don't know why it made me think of it, but I told her that. I'm like, this is one song that doesn't have, you know, doesn't remind me of anybody. She's like, oh. 16. She's, oh.
Right. Oh.
But yeah, so no, but then there's a lot of songs that remind me.
The problem is like
Skid Row, 18 in Life. You know who you are. If you ever watch this, Jeff Healey. I don't even have to say anything, because you better know who you are for that one. If you don't, we got a problem. But no, music is a huge thing.
That's like,
you know,
my genre is so left field that there's like one other guy that listens to the same stuff I do.
Yeah, so we touched on that a little bit.
Anytime I listen to a song, I'm like, any song reminds me of him, because he was my guy that I'd be like, even if the lyrics don't.
Yeah, it's like the band. It's the music. Yeah, no, I get it, and there needs to be, you know, more classes on that. There was a
maybe it's being
a
put on
sociology guy who did a series of episodes. He did a bunch of episodes, like a documentary, and I believe it was called Metal Evolution. Music Evolution, Metal Evolution, I think it was. And he touched base on the 70s, the 80s glam metal going into the grunge. But he's like a metal head, and he's a sociology guy. And you being in music with your guitars and all this stuff, you should look it up. And it's wild.
I will.
It's so cool. It's I want to say Metal Evolution, I believe it is. But anyways, you know, I could talk about music all day, but one of the things that we were talking about, as you were saying, who am I, and I was saying, I look at myself, and it's hard for me to figure out, because I'm a very negative, I guess, you know, type of person. But I guess that my question is, am I a negative person, or am I just so focused on, this is just a fact, this sucks, and this is why, where some people would be like, well, why are you whining, or why are you complaining? I'm not. I'm stating a fact.
Right.
Because some people can keep it in. I'm tired. I hate keeping things in. When you keep things in, it makes you mad. It eats at you. You know, you get the
fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Yeah, but you get a cool lightsaber.
I know.
You know,
I'd cut my arm off.
I'd have been dead building it.
I know.
You know, I would have been gone.
What's this?
Right. You know, but no. So it's like, people will say that I'm negative. I think I'm factual, but in that, I see really cool things, maybe a little bit better than other people don't. You know, I could be focused on, you know, this problem, and this problem, but look at that. That's cool. I showed you the picture
Yeah.
earlier. You know, I went fishing this morning and it started raining, and then this happened. I hit every red light. This happened. I almost fell down the hillside, you know, gashed my wrist open, all this stuff. And I'm standing there and I went to take a step back and I looked so I didn't step on a rock, and there's a frog in the water just looking at me. And I'm like talking to a frog. Hey dude, I almost stepped on you there. Like, they changed.
He would have been towed.
Yeah. But the day changed. And so you know, like I said, I have a really hard time talking about me personally. I'm the type of person, I believe, that I am better with questions, and I'm better in conversation. Like, you would say something and I'd be, oh, that reminds me of
that's what
this.
We loved.
That reminds me of that.
That's what we were so excited about the first episode, because we didn't know how it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And we both watched it and we're like, you know, when I do a sermon, I can't watch it. I'll watch 5 minutes and I shut it off. I'm like, I don't understand why they keep asking me to do this. My other YouTube channel, the church channel where I do all those videos, I cannot watch them. I'm like, dude, I'm so bad at this. But I sat down and watched our first episode like the whole way through, and there wasn't one point I was like, I love this. I would, even if it wasn't us, I would watch.
Do you think it's because that first episode that we did? And thank you for the 104 people awesome. That watched it. That's
11
crazy.
Subscribers.
11. We're in double digits.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. And the one person who commented on it.
That's you.
Me. Thank you, me.
So like I was going to comment back on it, but it would be me commenting as Blocks or the Blender.
Right.
Talk show.
But no, so what I was going to say is, you were saying how you can't watch your other ones and you can watch this one. Is it because we don't have an expectation for this?
Right.
But your other one, you have a goal. You have
I'm trying to reach people about Jesus. Like it is. It's tough because I see all of my flaws. I'm like, man, I should really delete this video and reshoot it because I fell short here and I fell short there. But then I think like I'm not
that's
trying.
Human nature.
Yeah. I'm not trying to hit it from I have to come with this heavy hitting, like big theological background. I'm doing my perspective when I teach either in the church or on there is like, I have to present the information in a way that my son would understand it, because there's so much content out there where they use words that are too big and they use big theological debates. I'm like, I want to do content for people like me.
I knew a person when I was in high school, and we used to get in arguments constantly. And as I got older, I would always kind of talk, not always badly. There was a lot of great things, but I would say certain things. And one night, this is no lie. Now, you're going forward many years. At this point, I'm in my 40s, right? And one night, my wife and I are talking.
That was like my report card, 4 Ds.
Right. But you passed.
Right.
D's still a passing grade.
I got a D plus.
Right. D plus what? But you know, my wife and I we were sitting there talking, and it kind of turned into like a debate type of thing. And I was drinking tequila that night, and she kind of chuckled at something. I don't remember what. And I remember I got heated, got mad, and she kind of laughed again, and I got mad. And she goes, "Look, I don't mean to be mean, but do you understand what I'm talking about?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I understand what you're talking about. You're talking about blah 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 blah." And she was like, "No, this is what I mean." And I'm like, "Oh, well," and I went, "Oh my." She's like, "What?" I said, "You remember this person?" And she's like, "From high school?" "Yeah." And I'm like, I just realized that all of our arguments was because she was just that much smarter than me. And when she talked, she used words, big words. So I looked at it at that time in high school, being, a rebel, being whatever I was or whatever I was thinking, I always looked at it like this person was just talking down on me. So I would get mad. I would get mad at that. And then it turned into an argument. And it was, why are you being stupid? Well, why are you calling me stupid? There was no me saying, I don't understand that, which is how I have learned to do that the older I've gotten. I've learned that, and I'll touch on that real quick. But yeah, it was in my 40s. And I was like, oh my gosh, all of these arguments were because I just literally couldn't say, I don't understand. She's using these big words.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife went, well, hope you never have to apologize to that person. I was like, I know, right? Because I'll be like, I'm sorry. But yeah, so as we were talking about that, one of the things that the type of person I am now is I get really not happy whenever a person in charge of something, a leader or coach or something, just yells at a kid. Just yells at a kid and not an adult for doing the same thing. And the adult should know better because that's what we're told, right? We should know better. And as the kid, it's, kid comes over, grabs this and pours it and it goes all over the floor. Why'd you pour that? Well, I wanted a drink. Well, why didn't you ask for help? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Did you know you should have done that? No. Did blah, 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 blah. You get yelled at. Did you know? No. Well, why didn't you ask? Why didn't you ask? Why didn't you ask? Why didn't you ask? That's what you get told as a kid. But as you grow up, and then, what are you told? This is exactly what you're told. Don't ask stupid questions.
Right.
Why are you asking me? You should know that.
And then you yell at them for asking, like you said, and not even just stupid questions like, why are you asking me for a drink? I'm trying to do this. Just go do it.
Right. So
and they get confused.
So at that point of the conversation, I realized I need to start asking. I need to start asking questions of something I don't understand. And if you don't like it or if you get mad at me, you know me. I don't care. I'll move on to someone else who does have the answers, because people come to me and they ask me questions. I'm like,
and see, this is why we're doing this, because that concept and that idea is something that I never really thought of before. Like, dude, I mean, I do ask for help all the time, but I never connected those dots. And, so like those perspectives.
And then it'll go a step further. You'll be in a church setting and you'll see people talking, and from now on, you'll notice that someone doesn't understand something, and they'll just go, okay, or yeah. And then now you go over and you're like, hey, do you understand that? And they'll go, yeah. And you go, well, this is what, and then it just leads into this. It leads into, this type of conversation.
One of the reasons that I've adopted that whole method is I've had so much feedback of the messages that I do where people come up and they say, I understood what you're teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a game changer whenever you realize that, like, I don't have to use big fancy words and I don't have to put on this big show. I can go up and I can be real, because that's who I am. I'm just a normal, average guy. I didn't go to seminary. I don't have a theological background. I do look into what the original Greek was or the Hebrew, depending on, occasionally. That way I have a better understanding of the text.
Can you imagine if more people just walked around like that? I'm just this person. I'm just a human.
Right.
I'm just, I'm a walking skeleton. One time.
I don't believe that you're acquiring the proper information from me, sir.
Right. One time, this is one of my favorite stories. One time I was walking into a gas station in Penn Hills, and I'm walking this way. There's a person walking this way, another person walking this way. I get to the door, grab the door, open the door. Guy goes, thank you. I go, no problem, sir. Good. I go to this lady. I said, go ahead. She goes, no, you go. Just like that. And I'm like, I'm already standing here. I got the door in my hand. I said, go ahead. She goes, I can hold my own door. I said, not a problem. I walked in and closed the door behind me. She walked in and said, that was rude. I'm like, you were right. You opened the door yourself.
Right.
And I walked away. That was it. Like, so yeah, that goes back to another person I am. I am a sarcastic jagoff. I don't mind it. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it rubs people the wrong way. But like I said in the previous video is, what got me to that point? Why did I do that?
I
and
got
some
one
people,
for you when you're done.
Some people just get me to that point for fun.
Mm-hmm.
There is, one of my best friends, Freya. Her and I, if you would read our text messages, you'd be like, do you two hate each other? The way you two talk to each other is just like two brothers, like being bad. But that's how we know we care. And it's so much fun. But she's one of those people that, she lives a few states away. And she called me at 3 a.m. and I need you. All right, I'm out.
Done.
Not a problem. It's,
I'm already halfway there.
Yeah. What's your address again? I don't know where I'm going. Wrong way. But yeah, so I know that I danced around a lot, but like I said, I just reinvent myself. I'm not, like Master Kim says, I'm not too old to learn something new. I try learning about myself. Sometimes it succeeds. A lot of times it doesn't, again, like I said before, I'm fortunate to have the friends and the family that I have that constantly, makes me want to, change this or, change that. And it's cool. Even the acquaintances, that I have, I see their struggles and, whatever. And, I know people that owned businesses and they're like, well, I failed. I'm like, well, no, you didn't fail. You just stopped doing it. Well, no, I failed. Yeah, but you tried it. How many people didn't?
Right.
Like you were talking about the podcast, the first episode.
How many people say that we want to try it and they never even try?
Yeah, I mean, I had my own business. I had my own business for about 5 years. Did I fail? No, I don't believe I did. I learned of what to do. I learned of what not to do. Again, I'm a mason. I do. My background is restoration, so I can fix masonry, concrete. I've been, 200 and some feet on the side of a building up in the air. I've been below streets in elevator pits fixing, things for, buildings or whatever. And I do a lot of cool stuff. When I closed my doors, I had enough work from March to last me till Thanksgiving. That's a lot of work for one person. I couldn't find anybody to work.
Nobody can right now.
I got so mad and so frustrated that Dawn and Freya both said, the two that convinced me to start the company, both were like, you're not a nice person. You're being you're stressed out, you're tired. I'm doing bids at 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm missing stuff. And I just wanted to succeed. I wanted to succeed. You were talking about money. I was chasing the money. I want to be a business owner. I want to do this. I want to do that. Until it got to the point where obviously it just wasn't. It wasn't working.
And that scenario taught me that I want to be successful at life, not work. Yeah. Like don't get me wrong. I do want to be successful at the job that I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I want to be able to look back. Like Ryder has his own YouTube channel now, and I'm more intentional about like, these are the videos when I'm old in the hospital that I want to be able to pull up and be like, dude, I remember those days. Like I did it and I did it intentionally and I did that well.
Yeah. No, absolutely. The job that I have now, to be fancy, I'm the director of logistics and procurement. What's that mean? I don't know. But when my wife told me that's what it was, the question. That's awesome. Nice. What does that mean?
My older brother was he worked for PNC for a while, and he did something with employee relations, and he had this big title, and I never quite ever really remembered it, but I always said, that he was the vice president of affairs not needed.
Right. Well, that's like when I was a petroleum transfer engineer.
Right.
You know, I
You
pumped
got
gas.
gas.
Yeah, I pumped gas at a gas station
Yeah.
for a while. That was fun. That was a
Nice.
cool job. It was summer.
Right.
Like that was actually fun. But no, the job that I have now, you know, I'm a warehouse manager for a construction company that does masonry restoration with chemicals, caulkings, coatings, all this stuff. And again, my background brought me into, you know, this. And, you know, I usually start work sometimes at 5 a.m. I leave at 3 p.m. And people were like, that's crazy. Yeah, but I'm up anyway.
Right.
You know, and I get to go to my own shop. I get to, I kind of, you know, get to do, you know, that, you know, sort of thing. But it gives me the opportunity to go to martial arts, go to the softball games, go to the bowling, go to the bowling tournaments. Now, sometimes those things overlap and I got to
pick one over the other.
Yeah. You know,
but such is life. But you don't miss them all now.
No, I don't. I'm not sitting there going, I'm too tired. I'm not going, I'm too this. I'm not, you know, but yeah, you know,
there's a lot of like, I think people who have never owned a business, they see how much is coming in and they don't realize how much is always going out. So that like they see the business aspect and how much they're making and they get so upset at the business owners and but they just
the cool thing with me though is like I got to not I didn't rent a place except for a store like a storage unit. But I worked out of my driveway. I got to work out of my garage. Like I built the office in the basement. Like I got to, you know, be there. But it got to the point where out of nowhere, it was like bid after bid after bid got accepted. And I'm going, this is cool. What do I do?
Help.
This is great. Help. What do I do?
Help me, Tom Cruise. Help me, Oprah Winfrey.
That was
Talladega Nights. Yeah. That's probably my favorite movie quote of all time. That's Kel Norton. He's going to put out the non-existent fire. That's a teammate right there.
You know, but other than that, you know, I mean, I love working. I like catching softball. You know, I like helping with that. I'm a martial arts practitioner that seems like every time I go to a class, I learn something new, you know, whether it's hand position, foot position, or, hey, I used to be able to do that. You gotta change that. Or, you know, how many times can I twist or stub my toe on the mat, you know, before it falls off? And, you know, it's been twice in 2 weeks and I'm really struggling. It's not good. Yeah. But
you told me your ability to trip upstairs last episode.
I did it last week. And I was just like kind of cracking up, like, do I tell him or do I not?
I told him, I knew it.
You know, but yeah. So you know, just you know, summarize. You know, yeah, I've been through a lot of crap. Been through you know a lot of deaths. Whether it was you know I know people that you know committed suicide. I know people that died accidentally. Family, you know, whether it was heart failure, cancers, you know, I've been through a lot of that sort of stuff.
My old best friend once got arrested for selling 54 bags of heroin to an undercover police officer.
That's a bad day.
That's a bad day.
That is a bad day.
I lucked out. I'd never have done an illegal street drug in my life, but
of all the bands I've been in, of all the places that I've played and all the parties that I've been to, never done a drug, never smoked a cigarette. You know, I've drank my fair share of bourbons, you know, I've eaten my fair shares of pizza. Like, I'm not kidding you. Remember I said pizza is like
pizza's a drug.
Food, but like
pizza. Have you ever been to Tony's down by
Yeah.
We'll have to go there twice. We'll have to go there sometime. They have good pizza.
Yeah, that was really good. His sons used to practice Tung Sudo.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't.
But yeah, so no, though I went through a big part of crap in my life, you know, but at the same time, you know, I want to be fun. I want to do this. I want to do that. I watch more cartoons probably than most.
It's now a good time to tell you I forgot to hit record.
Oh my God, I'm going to punch you.
Just kidding.
But, not punch. I wouldn't punch. I can't reach you. I'm all the way over here.
I would feel threatened if you really were gonna punch me because, like I said, you're the one guy. Like I'm like, ooh, that's I don't want to.
Well, and like I said, I know a few people that
Have some more stress-free tea.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. But no, I know a couple people that even when I have to spar them, in my head, I am just like, the whole thing is, I can see a kick coming, and even when you get hit with a kick, there's certain times you can turn or block it in a way where, yeah, you got tagged, but it's not like, oh my gosh. But there are some people that I don't know how, but they throw a punch, and I don't care how good I block it. It hurts. After our recertification, when you get to a certain level, your sparring isn't 1-on-1 anymore. It's 2-on-1. And it's not easy because it's like, oh, it's only 30 seconds. No, it's 30 seconds for you, 30 seconds for them, 30 seconds, or whenever somebody wants to hit the bell.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But this gentleman who is taller than me, he's got these shoulders, and he's built like he loves going to the gym. He loves working out. He laid a punch on me that at the time I didn't think of, because I laid a kick on him right here. We go to class, and I'm changing, and this other gentleman goes, what happened? I'm like, I don't know what. And I looked on, I got this green spot, and it's like the perfect size. I'm like, man,
he got me.
He tagged me. But it was I mean, it was a great hit.
One of my favorite memories is like every time you got me with a beautiful hit, like a gorgeous one, you'd be like, you all right? And you knew I was all right. And you'd be like, buck it next time. I'm like, dude, what did I think?
I mean, I block a lot with my face, right. Especially when I'm sparring certain people, like, Spar Master Lindsay. That's always the joke is, an object in motion
stays in motion.
An object at rest
stays at rest.
No, it gets kicked in the face.
Oh,
trust me. She laughs at that, but no, I've been, you start going and then you stop and you're like, your brain's going, do something, boom. Gotcha, coach.
Right.
But no, I love the tongue sudo, and I love the bowling alleys. I love the tournaments. I love all that stuff. We're going to try and watch Lego Batman tonight.
Dude, that's awesome.
Again, and it's on my playlist. It's one of my favorite songs. But enough about me and my ranting and banter, which I do apologize to anybody who's going to watch this.
See, mine was an hour.
I know, but I rant and I banter, and my thoughts go here, 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 here. So, if you have an actual question, if you have a direct question, go for it. The worst I can do is not answer it.
You're right.
For whatever reason. But I do have a question for you.
What's that?
What is your food of the month or food of the day, week, month? I don't know, something.
Before we started,
not a bacon barbecue burger. You said that.
So for breakfast today, I made a bacon, egg, English muffin sandwich.
I know a person that can get you eggs.
I do.
I gotta remember that.
It was great. So I'm gonna go with that. I enjoyed that, and Ryder likes when I make him bacon. So I went, dude, I went to get it yesterday.
Bacon. Where do you get your bacon from?
Wherever.
Oh, you got Mazers.
Nice.
Nazers.
So I was busy yesterday, so I ended up getting the extra thick cut at Giant Eagle. And anytime I get bacon, it's got to be extra thick. But like, there's this lady, totally, everybody there was zombie mode, And like, I'm like, I just want to get to the bacon, ma'am. Like, like, I don't want to be rude. Like, you're created in the image of God. I love you. It's cool. But like, you haven't moved in 15 minutes. Right. It seems like just
my bacon.
Come on. Like you're eventually I got the bacon, but I'm like, zombie mode, man. It's a real thing.
I get it.
What's your food of the month?
Burritos.
Burritos.
Burritos. Any burritos. Like, the thing about burritos is the fact that you can literally make anything you want. You can have a vegetable burrito with extra onions if that's what you're into.
Onions.
Right. Yeah, you can have I eat burritos literally every day. Every day on Sunday we make burritos. We make enough. I have 2 or 3 every day because of my work schedule. It's like I just grab it, boom, and go. And chicken, corn, jalapenos, banana peppers, refried beans, probably some salt, whatever else. Chicken. Did I mention chicken? There's usually chicken in it. Steak. Sometimes there's whatever, but burritos is one of those meals that you can literally put anything in,
and it's
wrap
quick.
it up. Right. You wrap it up, put it in the toaster oven. I like mine crispy.
Yeah.
Crispy. You could put cheese sauce over it, hot sauce over it, anything you want. If it's steak, throw some A1 sauce over it. It is like, it's not as perfect as pizza. It's I'll put it there. So yes, burritos.
Song. What's your song?
My song. Okay. So I took this. There's two. Okay. After Dark by Tito and Tarantula.
Okay. I haven't heard of.
It's not fast. It's not heavy. After Dark by Tito and Tarantula. Give it a listen.
Text it to me later.
I will. And Under the Mexican Moon by Concrete Blonde.
Don't know that one either.
Those two songs, they're slow. They got, again, music. You can feel music. You can feel a song. Elton John, sad songs. Sad songs say so much. You can feel music. Those two songs. You give it a listen, and then you give it a listen, and then you'll feel it. It's cool.
So, I want to take two also then, because I was debating on which one. So number one, both of these are slow too and not heavy.
Okay.
Devin Townsend, Thing Beyond Things.
Okay. You have to text me that one too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's probably one of my all-time favorites. Number two, Gallows Bird by Trees of Eternity. The poetry of that song it's about so you have two singers. It's a female. She died of cancer right before their first album came out, so like she didn't even get to the album release.
Oh wow.
But it's a song about a guy who is going to the gallows, and she's singing from the perspective of death coming to get him, and then he chimes in from like the perspective of like, this thing that I did is weighing so heavy on me that like I'm hoping that after all of this that I can finally have rest, because he felt bad about, they don't tell you what he did, but you get the perspective of it was murder, because part of the lyrics is you have a lady who's veiled coming to the funeral.
It's like Iron Maiden's "Hallowed Be Thy Name."
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's a prisoner looking out of his cell, waiting to go to the gallows to be hung. It's that, but added.
Right.
That's
and
cool.
then he gets hung in the song, and death comes to get him and takes him away.
That's wild.
It's awesome.
That's a hell of a storyline.
It's a super cool, and the way they do it, like the poetry is just, if you read the lyrics, it's awesome. I love that song.
That's cool. Yeah. Text that over to me.
Absolutely.
So, what do we got?
Movie.
It's your turn. You go first. Oh, he brought out DVDs.
Shaolin Soccer.
That is a movie you brought up.
Shaolin Soccer.
Okay. I'm going to mention a movie I brought up.
I prefer to watch it with the subtitles, because it actually is better. I'm not one of those guys that say, all the subtitles are always better, but if you can keep up with them, if not, it's still worth watching in the dubbed version.
Did you ever watch House of Flying Daggers?
Yes.
Watch that in English and then watch it with the subtitles. The subtitles are better.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch it in English, and that is one of those movies that I
Have you ever seen this?
I have not. I was going to ask you, what is it about?
Take it with you and watch it. But I'm
going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. There's no way I'm going to have time to watch this.
You have to. You have to find a way.
Why don't we do this when we're on episode like 17 or 20? In the fall. Yes, I'm projecting. Remind me, because I will actually have time to sit down.
I lent this to somebody once, and I actually had to go get it because they
after
kept
the
forgetting
fall tournament.
This movie is a comedy about a guy, and it's a group of brothers who did kung fu together, like not just all brothers, but they're like family.
Okay.
And they go their own separate ways, and they forget kung fu, and they forget all about it. And he has this idea: let's bring our kung fu back, but play soccer with it.
It's not a documentary.
It could be. I'm still waiting for somebody to come up and say, this came out, I want to say it was probably 99 to early 2000s when I worked at the movie theater.
Okay.
And nobody ever got it. But eventually I was able to find
That's awesome.
the DVD.
That's
and
awesome.
It is top 5 favorite movies of all time. Shaolin Soccer. If you haven't seen it, you have to. No excuses. Highly recommended. Close second, Le Mans with Steve McQueen. My Humphrey Bogart is Steve McQueen.
How cool is Steve McQueen?
That's why I wanted to be a mechanic.
I mean, yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I can respect that totally. Sheryl Crow wrote a song.
Mm-hmm. Lightning McQueen.
Cool, yeah. Well, no, Sheryl Crow wrote a song about how cool Steve McQueen was.
Right.
And I believe it's called Like Steve McQueen.
Right. I listen to that song a lot still to this day. No, my wife makes fun of me because I'm a metalhead, but I listen to Sheryl Crow.
She's one of those people that makes music.
Right.
It's just music.
Right.
You're not going to get into a mosh pit. You're not gonna, whatever. It's I guess we'll call it background music.
Yeah.
Like you can play it wherever, or radio friendly music.
Right.
Because I actually have a playlist. It's not called it, but I always call it my radio friendly playlist because I could play that anywhere, and it's.
I have that for my garage when I'm working on somebody's car. I put on my friendly playlist.
Yeah, that's cool. I even have Lego Batman on my.
Nice.
I'm not even kidding you.
I have a song from Arcane on mine.
That's cool. But my movie is Sahara.
Nice.
And
that's the one you talked about.
I did and watched it last night, actually. And Matthew McConaughey and for the ladies, as my wife said, you got to mention Matthew McConaughey for the ladies. Like, okay. And for the guys, or ladies, whatever, is Penelope Cruz. With the hair. She's got that hair. 80s. I'm a hair guy. Love the hair. But
do you have any?
I know. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. I'm losing mine. I'm just a joke.
I'm not saying I'm not, but you can't see it. But no, it's really cool. It is it's an adventure. It's kind of a little bit of a romance thing, but not really.
I like a little bit of romance,
but
in
not
my
really.
movies.
I mean, it's Matthew McConaughey and Penelope Cruz. How can there not be some sort of interest between the two? But it's adventurous. It's a little bit action-y. It's not like Jason Bourne. It's not blow up this and beat up this and do this.
I'm
and blah,
sick
blah,
of
blah,
all
blah,
that
blah,
too.
blah,
So
blah.
like that's good. It's good to have a change of pace.
Yeah, it's if you like Indiana Jones, this is a movie I think you'll like. If you like James Bond,
I like 3 Indiana Jones movies.
Yes. If you like James Bond, this is kind of one of those movies you'll like.
Right.
It's like I said, it doesn't matter who's in the room, you can watch it. There's kids in the room, you can watch it. The basis, of the movie is, him and the people that he worked for, they are an agency where they go and find, different things in the ocean that have been lost. Whether it's in this particular one, it was an African king. They find his, the sarcophagus, and they raise it up and they go boom, and then the adventure, starts. But the whole book series is basically like that. There's like 20 books. They raise the Titanic in one of the books. It's really
both pieces.
Really cool. Actually, they raise the whole thing. They put it together and sail it into New York. Right? How cool is that?
Is that a documentary?
Gosh, if it is, we missed something. But no, it's a fun movie. Like I said, it's not one of those movies that's going to win a Golden Globe. It's not going to do this. I think like when you pull it up on, whatever streaming service, it'll have like, 54% of whatever those little icons are. But it's such a fun, cool, entertaining movie, And with all of these questions, feel free to jump in. Tell us, your foods, your songs, your shows, Magnum PI, the original.
I think what we'll do too is
your movies
individually in the comments. I can put links to my favorite songs in my favorite movie, and then you can comment with yours.
Oh,
instead of putting it in the description, we'll just do it as a comment.
Okay. Yeah, you can. I just talk. The whole links thing and all that stuff. I don't know, but yeah, no, I think that's pretty cool. That's it.
That's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's
so
it.
If you're new, seriously, consider hitting the thumbs up and subscribing. It makes us feel like we're doing something good. We're not doing it for the reviews and that, but like to know that we're reaching people and that you're getting something out of it. Check out the last episode, the first episode, and we'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, and please, feel free to chime in. Like, that's what we want to do. We want to have a conversation with people. We want to hear what people say, and those who, have my number or whatever, you want to text me personally because you didn't like it or this, that, and the other thing, that's cool too. I don't mind, but I know.
Tell us, because this episode was very different from the last one.
Yeah.
So I'd say tell us which format you like the best. That way we can grow, as opposed to just, again, like the whole superhero thing. It's got to be this way. There's no other way to do it.
Well, the good thing is I'm not wearing hockey pads. But yeah, we got to do superheroes.
Yeah.
We got to do some, but yeah, no, the last three I think we're going to keep, like the food, the song, the movies.
That'll be every episode.
Yeah. And then the next one, who knows what we're going to do.
See ya next time.